do New Yorkers really want to be governed by a communist?
Yeah, it certainly seems that way, especially when you look at the poll, which is really unfortunate. The latest polls show that while the race has tightened somewhat, he still is holding a pretty healthy double-digit lead over
Yes.
Cuomo in the 10 to 15 point range, depending on who's doing the polling. So because of that, we're seeing a lot of New Yorkers showing support for him. And obviously, we're going to see on Election Day tomorrow what the real outcome is. But because of his high-profile candidacy, not surprisingly, New York has had a record amount of early voters, the turnout being about 700,000 early votes cast between October and 25th and November 2nd, which is 4 times the turnout for the 2021 New York mayoral race. So to answer your question, maybe we'll find out. Does that mean that all of these people really want to support Mamdani and communism? Or does that mean among the 15 to 20% who are undecided and among more who are against them that they've decided to come out and vote against him? We're going to find out tomorrow. But hopefully, New York doesn't have to learn the hard way that Marxist policies lead to collapse and despair.
Absolutely. I am hoping and praying for that so much. But it does beget a bigger conversation here about the current direction of the Democrat Party between political violence and just harassing people, mass censorship, government-run grocery stores, full-on socialism and nationalizing industries. You look at what's happening to this party and you can't help but wonder what exactly it is. Is it a transformation? Have radicals like AOC just taken over the party? So I want to get your analysis about what in the heck is happening to the Democratic Party.
Yeah, what we can see is that every time they're losing these elections, they're going more and more to the left. It's like our country is in a different place than it was
Yes,
10, 20 years ago.
totally.
And even looking back, even before I was alive, I know my parents think the same thing, looking back at how the country used to be. We've watched what used to be a much more moderate Democrat Party
Totally.
turn completely to the radical left. And we see open embraces from the party of these Marxist socialist candidates. It didn't just start with Mamdani. Obviously, candidates and politicians like Bernie Sanders, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Elizabeth Warren even, and more are all embraced by the party, and they support and enact Marxist policies, far left policies. We saw that in the White House with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They were very far to the left. So we've seen this shift as a whole more and more to the left. And thus now we have a candidate up in New York City who is not only radically anti-American, but is actually pushing forth Marxist policies, which we thought we all knew were a problem and would not be good. But unfortunately, in New York, the stakes are high. I mean, with it being such a financial capital where it's such an important part of our nation, this is
Yes.
one of the worst places that we could see this take place. And there's no question that we're going to see more of an exodus of citizens and businesses if he does, in fact, win tomorrow, as he's projected to, with the policies that he's proposing on enacting, which, of course, will not work. And as the businesses and citizens leave, the so-called funding that he'd like to, or what he'd like to use as funding for his socialist policies, is also going to be leaving the state. So
Yes.
it's not going to work, and it's going to crumble for far more reasons than one.
And it's unfortunate, and maybe it's a lesson that just has to be learned. I know some people want Mamdani to win, so New Yorkers can be reminded of the failures of socialism and what it leads to. I don't want to see us get there,
I don't either.
like at
Yeah.
all. That just seems like a horrible. We should know better than that already, especially in post-Cold War America. However, Grace, I do want to ask you, between fighting for open borders to putting abortion bans outside the DNC last year to assassination attempts on President Trump to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, clearly this is not JFK's Democratic Party. That much is obvious. What's a little unclear to me, though, is how we got here and what's driving that radical change. What do you think it is, Grace?
Yeah, I think that that's a really great question that's almost, hard to hit with the many areas that go into it. But, one thing that we can look at is the heightened rhetoric as a root to this. all of the sudden, conservatives and political opponents of the left, so people on the right, were completely demonized and dehumanized by being called racist, bigot, homophobic. Now it's become fascist, Nazi, and more.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.